Okay, where have I been? Anyway, the Crack Shack has been bought out, so it will be the Crack Shack no longer. It's been bought out by Houston, Texas Hot Chicken. The restaurant currently has just location there in Lehigh. Oh, in Main Street, a Crack Shack. And now we know 9th and 9th.
Yeah.
And it will be rebranded and reopened by late February.
The U.S. is in some serious debt. The Treasury says the nation's gross national debt has surpassed $34 trillion. This comes after the temporary lift to the nation's debt limit last year after the government ran up against its legal borrowing capacity. That agreement, by the way, lasts until January of 25.
Let's get a look now at your money at this moment. The futures markets are down a little bit. The Dow off 116, that's 0.3%. S&P futures off 18, that's 0.4%. The Nasdaq futures down 88, and that is 0.5%. Let me just check oil. Oil is up 50 cents. We're at $70.88.
Spots of delays out there. One building eastbound 201 from Redwood Road because of a crash near the 700 West exit. We'll check traffic and weather together next.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s,
affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions.
Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
6:59, traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy?
The 21st South Freeway crash is finally cleared, and so are the delays between Redwood and 900 West. You'll see some heavy traffic on 201 out in Magna around 7200 West. Fog still affecting your drive on Tooele County to get to I-80, including we got now a reported crash right at the Lake Point on-ramp area on I-80 as well. Heather?
No delays through Weber and Davis County on the freeways, although traffic is filling in, getting pretty heavy southbound I-15 from Clearfield to Farmington, as well as on US 89 heading north through the Layton area. But we do have a bit of congestion on city streets in Clearfield, Ogden, and Roy. Eric?
Well, we do have some congestion over at Redwood Road and 2100 North in Lehigh this morning. That's probably the busiest spot in Utah County at the moment. I-15 looks good northbound and southbound from Provo's University Avenue entrance point up to Point of the Mountain. That's a 20-minute drive. Along the Wasatch Pack, US 40 looks pretty good from Heber City to Park City. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing convenience with 4 dealers' inventory. Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country, all in one place. PerformanceBountiful.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
43 degrees today, 3 of the next 4 days. Matt's taking some snow out of the forecast. Have snow in them. Right now it's 25 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning, I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
The Justice Department is threatening to take the state of Texas to court as that state continues to send more and more migrants to other states.
At issue is a new law that takes effect in 2 months, aimed at giving local and state authorities the power to enforce immigration law. Our coverage, Crisis at the Border, begins with KSL News Radio's Adam Small. Adam?
Amanda, starting in March, Texas authorities will be able to arrest and prosecute migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. While Texas Governor Greg Abbott says it's to help stop the tidal wave of immigration in that state, the Justice Department claims the law is unconstitutional. Meanwhile, in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams issued an executive order which forces bus operators to give them at least a day-and-a-half notice when transporting migrants to the city. But apparently Governor Abbott tried to get around that by busing roughly 400 migrants to New Jersey, have them take the train in. New York City Hall Chief Lisa Zornberg is one of many calling for federal intervention.
What's happening right now is bonkers. It is really what Texas is doing is bonkers.
Chicago suburbs are also facing a similar issue. 4 of them have now passed ordinances fining bus companies that drop off migrants without notice. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Meantime, suburban mayors are saying they need help to deal with that influx from Texas. Michael Turner is the mayor of Woodstock, a suburb of Chicago.
We do not have the staff, the expertise, or the money, and that may not be the ideal. We may all wish it was something different, but that's the reality.
He's calling on the federal government to help.
Help from Uncle Sam may not be swift, as Congress remains at an impasse over border security as part of a deal to provide aid to Ukraine, and they're not back at work yet from the holidays.
Returning from his holiday trip in the Caribbean, reporters asked President Biden about the record number of migrants at the southern border. A White House official says negotiations on border funding are moving in the right direction as Republicans insist new aid for Ukraine be tied to increased U.S. border security. Today, House Speaker Mike Johnson, along with 60 other Republican lawmakers, are set to visit the border in Texas.
That's ABC's Ika Jachi reporting in Washington.
A federal appeals court has upheld part of one state's abortion ban. We get that story from ABC's Derry Albinger.
The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Texas hospitals are not required to perform emergency abortions under the Federal Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, which was put in place after Roe v. Wade was overturned. The decision negates the Biden administration's position that the federal statute overrides state laws which prohibit abortions.
New research shows thousands of women in the U.S. have stocked up on abortion pills as more states restrict access to abortion. The study says the average number of daily requests for the pills to an online telemedicine service shot up nearly tenfold after the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Continuing our coverage, Crisis at the Border. A key border crossing is going to reopen this week in Arizona a month after it was closed. KSL News Radio's Nick Sadowski has more from Phoenix.
The Department of Homeland Security says the Lukeville port of entry is reopening tomorrow morning at 6. It's been closed since December 4th so that officials who watch over vehicle and pedestrian traffic could help Border Patrol agents take migrants into custody.
The closure of that port of entry has been a huge point of contention for local businesses who say they rely on border traffic for tourism and revenue.
A new video is going around showing terrifying moments. Passengers on an airline rode through a fiery crash landing in Tokyo. One passenger shared their experience.
I looked to the left and I saw flames all over the windows.
The airline crashed into a Japanese Coast Guard plane. 5 crew members on that Coast Guard plane died.
New details this morning about the man who was found dead inside an inactive jet turbine at Salt Lake International. KSL TV's Shelby Lofton reports.
Salt Lake City police say the incident started at 9:52 p.m. when an airport store manager reported a disturbance. According to police's timeline, Kyler Effinger took an emergency exit at 9:56, setting off the alarm. At 10:04, police say another pilot spotted Effinger. About 5 minutes later, officers found him unconscious inside the engine's intake cowling.
First responders performed CPR for about 20 minutes before Effinger was declared dead.
This year's holiday travel rush went pretty smoothly, but a mix-up at Tampa International Airport brought one teenage traveler to an unexpected destination. 16-year-old Logan Lowe's was set to fly by himself to Cleveland the Friday before Christmas, but he wound up in Puerto Rico. Frontier Airlines operates flights to Cleveland and San Juan from Tampa, both out of the same gate. And Logan had just boarded the earlier plane by mistake. The incident caused a bit of a scare for Logan's dad, Ryan, who says his son had his headphones on during the pre-flight announcement.
Exactly like Home Alone 2, where Kevin puts on the music and the flight attendants start talking about where they're going, and he can't hear anything. That's exactly what happened with Logan.
Logan probably wanted to spend a few extra days on the beach in Puerto Rico. The airline says Logan was flown back to Tampa immediately, then on to Cleveland the next day.
Well, the Utah Jazz are at home tonight to take on the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons are just 3-30 so far on the season. Tip-off tonight is at 7 o'clock.
KSL News Time, 7:05. Here's your first look traffic check with Andy.
Delays on I-80 in Lake Point. Looks like maybe we've got a crash just after the merge from SR 36, but foggy conditions have been affecting drivers all morning in Tooele County coming into the Salt Lake Valley. I-15 corridor, though, has stayed clear of delays so far between Ogden, Salt Lake, and Provo. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather now with Matt Johnson. There is some good news for our air quality.
Eastern Uinta Basin, we're in the green. We're also now into the green for Utah Valley. And improvement has been made for Salt Lake and Davis counties. We were in the orange the last several days. The reason why we've seen improvement is, well, winds are increasing at upper levels. Whenever you get that happening, it's an indication you've got a storm on the west coast and on our doorstep.
Today's high will be 43, but we could see some snow flurries tomorrow.
Listen to this. Doctors are celebrating a medical breakthrough in North Carolina. The world's first partial heart transplant was deemed a success 1 year after the surgery. Owen Monroe was born in the spring of 2022 with a lethal heart condition. Owen's mother, Taylor Monroe, is expressing her gratitude.
We are just eternally grateful for our donor's family. Truly, Owen would not be here today.
All right, here's what a partial heart transplant looks like. It's a first-of-a-kind surgery, but arteries and valves from a donated heart were integrated into Owen's own heart when he was 17 days old.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating. Well, it might not just be in your head after all. A new study suggests hypochondriacs are more likely to face actual health risks. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live to explain. Michael?
Amanda, this study comes from Swedish researchers who worked with over 4,000 people diagnosed with hypochondria, or the fear of being sick. Turns out, constantly being anxious about your health or doubting doctors' assurances causes alarming levels of stress. The chronic stress can then do a number to your body's white blood cells, according to the Cleveland Clinic. Hypochondriacs face an 84% higher risk of all-cause mortality. Health Direct says if you know someone affected by hypochondria, then let them know you're there for them, listen, and then help them follow the advice of a doctor. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
We're learning more about a carbon monoxide scare that affected dozens of people in Sevier County over the holiday weekend. Sheriff Nathan Curtis told KSL TV that it was eye-opening.
We had never had anything that big that happened before with that many people coming into the emergency room, needing medical care all at once. So it was a huge tax on our local services.
He is urging people to maintain their furnaces, but more importantly, their carbon monoxide detectors, and never to ignore any symptoms that seem out of place.
The man accused of shooting at random drivers in Juab County has been convicted. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
5 different people were injured when Adam Lloyd Gein opened fire while driving on I-15. He's now been convicted of 5 counts of attempted murder. Police responded to multiple shots fired on the freeway back in 2021. The shots were fired between Nephi and Scipio during a 30-minute period. Gein was in an SUV shooting people from behind. He took a plea deal to reduce his sentence, but he still faces anywhere from 5 to 75 years in prison. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
7:09, time for a look at traffic and weather together here. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. That's kind of tough to tell what's going on out there in Tooele County, Andy, because of the fog.
Yeah, it's a crash, it looks like, just after the Lake Point merge, heading from Tooele County into the Salt Lake Valley. What you're looking at, obviously the listeners are, but is the on-ramp from SR 36 onto the freeway that's backed up. And it is really low visibility through that stretch right now. Even after you get past the delays from the crash, though, you've got reduced speeds all the way basically to the airport because of the visibility issues. I-15, though, it's been looking great all morning, and it still is from Point of the Mountain to downtown. Heather?
We've got the delays trying to get into the south gate of Hill Air Force now from the Layton area. We've had to congestion all morning long at the Clearfield Gate, the West Gate. No problems, though. I-15 southbound still running at freeway speeds, less than 30 minutes from Ogden to Salt Lake, and no delays getting onto Legacy Parkway or the West Side Belt to the airport. Eric.
No trouble in Utah County. It's a normal travel time northbound from Santaquin to a point of the mountain. It's a 30-minute drive. Really, the major feeders getting over to the freeway all in good shape, too. If you're on the Wasatch back, we're not seeing the delays we sometimes do getting into Park City, westbound on Kearns Boulevard. If you're leaving US 40 this morning, maybe it'll stay that way. Update your kitchen with Durden's Appliance, where they meet any competitor's price. Visit Durdens.com or on 5th South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast starting out in the upper 20s and low 30s this morning at 7 a.m. Easy drive with dry roads, clear skies at 7 a.m. Hey, how about the lunch hour? Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures in the upper 30s. By this afternoon, 43 for a high. A little bit of haze, but we're seeing improvement. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
In Salt Lake City right now, it's 26 degrees.
We're reporting this morning that migrant encounters along the southwest border reached an all-time high, 302,000 encounters.
In a month.
We'll have more in an update just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Park City residents can now apply for over $1,000 in child care assistance per child per month. Here's KSL News Radio's Emma Keddington.
Park City is working with Upwards, a national child care assistance program. Park City residents can apply to get as much as $1,700 of assistance per child per month. Upwards Community Impact Vice President Jessa Santangelo says this will help parents spend less than 10% of their income on child care.
We've got more information, including details on who's eligible and how you can apply at KSLNewsRadio.com.
Even though the Utah bill banning cell phones in classrooms failed, a Kaysville school has come up with their own policy.
So the community and students were a huge part of us putting this policy in place.
It was Centennial Junior High's principal, Mercy Rossmango, who said in a video released by Davis School District that they first brought the idea to parents and the school's community council. That policy applies to when students are in class, and there's a 3-strike rule before parents are involved.
So a referral is anytime a student is caught with their cell phone out or AirPods or messing with their smartwatch.
On the other side, students are given incentives like class ice cream parties for having a clean record. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
All right, this is kind of funny. The tutus worn in Taylor Swift's Shake It Off music video were rented from Ballet West back in 2015. Now they're getting dusted off and cleaned to be used in the company's Swan Lake production starting next month.
I love that.
How would you know they were actually the tattoos that were used in the music video?
They probably told us. They told someone, yeah.
The costumes will be back on stage, just not worn this time by Taylor.
Of course. Trending this hour on the 7 o'clock report, a lottery player in Michigan has won the $842.4 million Powerball jackpot on the first day of 2024. The first time it's been won on New Year's Day since the game started in 1992. No one had won the Powerball jackpot since mid-October, enabling the prize to grow to the 10th largest in U.S. history.
Yeah, and that $842.4 million payout is for a sole winner who opts for an annuity doled out over 30 years, but people usually prefer a lump sum option. For Monday's jackpot, it's an estimated $425.2 million.
Wow. A small, rare herding dog called the Lancashire Heeler is the latest breed recognized by the American Kennel Club. The organization announced Wednesday that the breed is now eligible for thousands of U.S. dog shows.
Lancashire Heelers historically were farm helpers that could both drive cattle and rout rats. The dogs are short-legged, long-bodied, and active, and owners say contented healers sometimes pull back their lips in a move that resembles a human smile.
I can tell when Molly's smiling. Can't you tell when your dog is smiling?
I don't. Becky can. I never even think about it.
Heelers' history goes back centuries in the United Kingdom, where they're now deemed a vulnerable native breed at risk of dying out in their homeland. So now they're eligible for dog shows.
Becky will do that to me sometimes. Look at Sissy, she's smiling. I said, no, she's got gas. How do you know she's smiling? Please. KSL News Time, 7:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
if running for office in Utah is one of your New Year's resolutions for 2024, the deadline to do that is coming up this Monday. I'm KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson.
Second, the Justice Department is threatening to sue the state of Texas over a new law giving state and local officials authority over the U.S. border.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
I-15 still running well, but I-80 struggling in Tooele County because of fog, and we had a crash on the main flow just after the Lake Point merge. It does appear they've either got it out of the way or cleared. Hard to see through the fog, but we've got slowdowns in Lake Point on SR 36 for almost a mile before you can even merge onto I-80. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy with showers in the southern half. I'm Matt Johnson.
Let's see where we are right now. 25 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Republicans in Congress headed to the southern border today. They will take a look firsthand at the migrant situation as talks go on about a more permanent immigration policy. In Washington, here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
Several dozen House Republicans will tour the border at Eagle Pass, Texas, with their new Speaker, Mike Johnson. The visit comes as bipartisan negotiations continue here in Washington over border policy changes in a bill funding Israel and Ukraine. The White House says those talks are moving in the right direction, but any deal that might emerge in the Senate could have a tough time passing in the GOP-controlled House.
Also this week, the Department of Justice asks the Supreme Court to step in over the razor wire set up along the Texas-Mexico border. In the capital of Iran, a series of blasts at the site of a memorial service for a top general killed in a U.S. airstrike back in 2020. At the foreign desk, here's ABC's Tom Rivers.
Iranian state television reports 2 explosions in the central city of Kerman during a commemoration of the 4th anniversary of the death of General Soleimani, the head of the country's elite Quds force, who was killed in a U.S. drone strike in Iraq. The blasts occurred near Soleimani's burial place. Several people also reportedly injured in a stampede after the explosion.
A pair of winter storms headed from the west coast to the east coast, where snow is in the forecast for the weekend, according to ABC Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
It has been nearly 2 years since we have had an inch or more of snow in New York City. Consecutive snow droughts for Philadelphia and Baltimore, also record-breaking. These lengths of times that we've gone without snow could change very quickly by the weekend. It's Saturday night through Sunday when it deteriorates from Philadelphia to New York City.
Former President Trump's legal team appealing a decision from Maine's Secretary of State that banned Trump from appearing on the primary ballot. Iowa caucus is just 12 days away. Donald Trump still holds a commanding lead in the polls, more than 30 points ahead of his closest rivals. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The southern border saw record-breaking numbers of migrants crossing in the U.S. in December.
ABC's Alex Perez reports.
This morning, record numbers at the southern border. This December alone, sources telling ABC News that U.S. Customs and Border Protection encountered over 300,000 migrants, far surpassing the historic high of nearly 270,000 in September. CBP saying they'll continue to assess security situations, adjust operational plans, and enforce the law. Texas Governor Greg Abbott flying and busing hundreds to cities including New York, Washington, D.C., Denver, and here in Chicago, creating a crisis for many mayors.
And it's not sustainable. The answer is for our national government to resolve this issue.
But Biden defending his administration and passing the blame onto Republicans. Many of the migrants seeking asylum are ending up in so-called sanctuary cities. Texas now resorting to leaving migrants on the outskirts of these cities in an effort to skirt new laws.
Congress is still working on some kind of border crisis deal. It's still tied to funding for Ukraine and Israel. We're not sure if it'll come out of Congress in that form or not, but as of now, the discussions are still connecting those.
Karen Travers was telling us earlier, staffers have been working on solutions, in waiting for our elected officials to get back to Washington. We'll see if anything comes of it and be following it with ABC's help on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy?
Well, the biggest delay is going to be for drivers trying to get from Tooele County into the Salt Lake Valley. Slowdowns begin on SR 36 in Lake Point. Foggy conditions are throughout Tooele County, but the traffic congests mostly through Lake Point and then on to I-80, almost to the 201 split. Maybe because people can't see the signs, but after that, after you pass 201, the speeds do improve all the way to the airport as visibility increases. Bangerter's beginning to back up near 3500 South in West Valley. I-15 yet to see any extra slowdowns, though, from Point of the Mountain to Salt Lake. Heather?
Still haven't seen any slowdowns on I-15 in Weber and Davis County. You're at good speeds from Ogden to Salt Lake. Same story on US 89 and Legacy Parkway. City streets are getting a bit congested, though, especially 5600 South in Roy. And you have delays getting into Hill Air Force Base, both at the west and south gates. Eric?
A modest amount of congestion now in Provo on 300 South from University Avenue over to 500 West. The rest of the intersections are looking pretty good throughout the county, and I-15 continues to roll along at a normal pace. You're looking at a 24-minute drive from Spanish Fork up to Point of the Mountain. Along the Wasatch Back, and now we are seeing the delays getting into Park City. If you're exiting US 40 and going west on 248, that's Kearns Boulevard. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventative care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, mostly cloudy today with a high of 43. Tomorrow, 37, cloudy and a chance for flurries. Snow showers likely on Friday, 36. We go for snow showers again on Saturday, 35. Maybe a more robust storm on Sunday, but right now the track of that storm for Sunday does look like it continues to slide south. High of 33 then. 28's all you get for Monday, partly cloudy, and a chance for snow showers again as we work into Tuesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy out there this hour, 25 degrees. And the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
What were you telling me about the special Big 12 kickoff show tomorrow? Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow at noon. Yeah, Mitch is going to be hosting.
That'll be fun. So
I think Matt might be joining him. I don't know.
So they'll take a look at all the Big 12 basketball games coming up.
Yeah.
I know we have one on our air Saturday night. BYU, who's number 12 right now, which is awesome. BYU takes on Cincinnati this weekend. The pregame is at 7 on Saturday. Tip off at 8 o'clock.
Then they go on the road and take on Baylor. But when you start looking at this gauntlet of the Big 12, there's a reason why it's known as the best basketball conference in the country.
Yeah.
There are just so many great teams and a lot of ranked teams right now, including the Cougars.
Which is awesome.
Going to be a test.
And we're reporting this morning that it's possible there'll be 4 Utah men's basketball teams going to the big dance this year.
And if that happens, the Cougs may play the Wildcats in the first round, I believe, in Salt Lake City.
How awesome would that
be? In March. Wouldn't that be something? Coming up, we'll see what's happening with your money news, so stay with us. KSL News Time, 7:22.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Impactful Online Solutions is a woman-owned business that creates websites for coaches, authors, and service providers who want to look professional, build trust, and grow their business. Founder April Hyatt joins us with more.
People need your unique skills and talents. I help them find you. As a strategic website designer and branding expert, I empower you to build websites that speak directly to your audience. A well-designed website stands out and clearly tells the world what you do. With complete packages that include custom website design, branding, conversion copywriting, lead generation, sales pages, and more, I take the frustration and overwhelm out of building an online presence. That way, when people check you out, they connect with you right away, know you are the best person to help them, and get excited to work with you. If you're a passionate coach, consultant, or service professional, your website needs to show what you do, inspire confidence, build trust, and ultimately grow your business. Let me help you create a website that wows. Get in touch with me at aprilhyatt.com.
With both custom packages and complete templates available, Impactful Online Solutions is here to address your unique website needs. Learn more at their website. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The universal truth of women's shoes. The cuter they are, the more they hurt.
You have to put your best foot forward, and if your best foot is an ugly shoe, oh my goodness.
Lisa Ann thought she had to choose between looking good and feeling good until she got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now I can wear the shoes that I've picked out because I like the way they look, not because they were comfortable.
Good Feet relieved her pain and her fashion dilemma. Stop by or schedule your free fitting.
Stop by the Good Feet store in Farmington, Riverton, or Sandy for a free fitting. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
Dave and Dujanovic. Representative John Curtis wants to be Senator John Curtis, replacing Mitt Romney. Curtis joins us live in studio, and I want to know why the flip-flop? He said he wanted to run, then he didn't. Now he is. John Curtis, today on Dave and Dujanovic.
We're watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. More Americans are able to get insulin for just $35. That's good news. Drug maker Sanofi is now capping prices and offering saving programs to patients. The deals went into effect January 1st.
KSL Drives looks like car sales rebounded last year. Analysts project a 13% increase from 2022. Major car manufacturers will release their numbers later today, and then I guess some trickling in tomorrow. So we'll see if analysts are right.
Steep price cuts seem to work for Tesla. Fourth quarter sales increased by almost 20%. Wow. The company said it sold 484,507 vehicles from October through December. It seems like I see the Teslas all over the place now. Don't you notice them?
Every time I'm
They're
out
so
driving.
good looking. That's over 10,000 more Teslas than Wall Street had estimated.
I was just looking at a headline on MarketWatch. Tesla pre-market skid sets stage for longest losing streak in a month on the heels of positive, numbers today.
Yeah.
We'll have the opening bell here in about 5 minutes or so, but the Dow is down about 155. It was up slightly yesterday at the close. The S&P down another 24 to start the day, 0.5%. And the NASDAQ is down about 0.75%. It's off 118.
Boy, we're watching, I guess that's SR36 in Tooele.
How can you tell?
Yeah, that is really freaky how
Yeah.
thick the fog is out there. So we have slowing in Tooele County, both on 36 and on I-80 heading into Salt Lake. So slow down if you're out in that area. And we'll update those situations along with any other traffic problems just ahead on KSL.
We love to be able to tell the story of our friends at Les Olson. The fact is, they started out as the smallest of small companies. $63 in a piggy bank back in 1956. And so they know what it's like to be a small business and want to grow. And they certainly have done that over the last 6 plus decades. But they now do so much more for your company, or can do much more than just copiers and printers.
They help other Utah companies grow now. So maybe you started off in your garage as a small eBay business, but now you have a few employees, and maybe now you even have a building, and you need to think about security for that building. Or you need, those big displays that they do in
full wall monitors.
They do those too. If it's IT related, Les Olson IT handles it.
And I would guess right now that's probably the biggest concern. We were talking about the question marks earlier about AI and how that's changing all of our lives. Think about that if it's your business and you're going to have to come to grips with technology, how it affects your company, and how you can, benefit and actually move ahead in that environment. Les Olson can help you figure that out.
Wouldn't it be great to walk through that with an IT expert? You don't have to have an IT department because you have Les Olson IT. Let them be your IT department.
And by the way, they can still take care of the ink for your printer. Get to know Les Olson IT. They've got 9 locations from Logan to Las Vegas.
LesOlson.com.
Born Michael King Jr. on January 15th, almost 100 years ago.
Rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice.
Minister, activist, and civil rights leader. His message, as important today as it was then.
Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children.
We honor the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
at KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 7:29. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Let's get back over to Andy Farnsworth.
No relief from the fog, so no relief from the delay leaving Tooele County. SR36, at least a mile of slowdowns in Lake Point, and then another on the freeway, all the way up to the 201 split. Speeds stay reduced, although it does start moving and you get out of the stop and go after the 201 split. Beware, though. Got delays on Bangerter that are getting worse now in West Valley, coming up from 4100 south to 3500 south. At this point, that's a backup beyond what we normally see. Heather?
The worst delays in Weber and Davis County are actually on city streets right now. They include 5600 south in Roy. You're going to be stop and go between 3500 west all the way over to I-15. And then you have delays trying to get into Hill Air Force Base at the South Gate in Layton and the West Gate in Clearfield. The freeways themselves, though, are actually still moving along pretty nicely at speed. Eric.
And you're still at a normal pace in Utah County on I-15 from Santaquin Payson all the way up to Thanksgiving Point. The only delay spot we're seeing is just north of Timpanogos Highway as you approach the point of the mountain. If you're over on the Wasatch back from Heber City to Park City on US 40 going past the reservoir, that looks good. But getting into Park City using Kearns Boulevard, that's a bit slow for westbounders from US 40 over into town. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at that forecast now and see when the snow might be here. Today's high will be 43, but then tomorrow we might see some snow. I look forward to that tomorrow and Friday and Sunday. So we have a chance of snow 3 days of the next 7. Hopefully that storm won't move too far south, and we'll get a little bit of that here along the Wasatch Front. And then the highs will be in the 30s for the rest of the 7-day forecast. Right now, downtown, 25 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 7:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Utah could soon be home to a big new incubator for tech.
Qualtrics founder and jazz owner Ryan Smith wants to build a new hub for startups in Provo. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with that story. Michael?
Amanda, his vision is more than just an entrepreneurial hangout. It's called the River District, and we're talking a 26-acre development west of University Avenue and at the base of the Provo Canyon. It has 198 residential units and 300,000 square feet of office space. Smith's vision is that Provo will be a ground zero for intellectual and technological development, and he's footing the bill for the whole build. Smith thinks the spot's perfect, given Provo's history of tech startups and what he calls the scrappiness of its residents. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Maine Secretary of State is standing by her decision to bar former President Donald Trump from the ballot in her state, and his legal team has officially filed appeals to the Maine Supreme Court. Shenna Bellows tells ABC News she was just doing her job.
The qualifications for president under the United States Constitution are not a menu. They're not optional. My job is to follow the Constitution and the law.
Both Maine and Colorado cited the 14th Amendment in their decisions removing Mr. Trump from the ballot. It bars anyone who engages in insurrection or rebellion from holding office.
They've only had 1 day to file so far, but already the field of candidates who want to replace Senator Mitt Romney is crowded. So far, Brett Hatch, the son of the late Senator Orrin Hatch, former House Speaker Brad Wilson, and Riverton Mayor Trent Staggs have all said they're running. Congressman John Curtis will file the official paperwork to run later this morning. Those candidates are all Republicans. Democrats say they will run a candidate, but haven't yet said who.
And that has started the dominoes falling down the line, too. Congressman John Curtis's announcement quickly followed by news of interest in filling his seat. The former Utah County Republican Party Chair Stuart Pay has announced he plans to run for the 3rd District. Former State Representative Chris Herod told the Deseret News last month he planned to run if Curtis decided to run for Senate. And KSL.com reports that State Senator Mike Kennedy and the founder of Circus Tricks, Case Lawrence, have exploratory committees.
If you're thinking about running for office, the deadline to do that is next week.
Elections officials say next week's deadline, a close of business Monday, January 8th, may catch some by surprise. KSL.com reports thanks to a change in Utah law, the filing deadline was moved from the second Friday in March to next Monday. Filing period began yesterday. Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson officially ushering in the 2024 elections in Utah, applying to partisan candidates in federal, statewide, county, and local races. Henderson agreed to allow independent presidential candidates until March 5th. After Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sued over the January 8th deadline, Utah will hold primary elections on June 25th, and Election Day is November 5th. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
UDOT is completing the final touches on the West Davis Highway with only 3 days until the big opening. KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with the details. Adam?
Tim, the 16-mile highway that'll run from I-15 in Centerville to SR 193 in West Point is paved, painted, and pretty much ready to go.
It's really, really minimal in terms of most of the heavy lifting has already been done. So we're geared up and ready to open this highway.
UDOT spokesperson Mitch Shaw says after it opens, you might see a lane closure here or there because they will be doing some landscaping and cosmetic work, but the actual road and trail system is ready. Project is one of UDOT's biggest undertakings with a $750 million price tag, 2.5 years of work, and they finished 6 months early. You can start driving on the new highway this Saturday morning at 11:30. Live on the I-15 corridor, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
It is time for First Look Traffic, and here is Andy Farnsworth.
All right, now I'm watching a big delay on Bangerter Highway, a crash blocking the left lane just before 3500 South, backing you all the way up past 4100 South West Valley. And then the fog has really blocked up things, slowing you from Lake Point onto I-80 and then almost all the way to the 201 split of stop-and-go traffic leaving Tooele County. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
The world's first partial heart transplant is deemed a success 1 year later. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has more.
Born with a heart defect, Owen Monroe underwent the groundbreaking procedure in 2022. He was just 17 days old. Now, a year later, doctors from Duke Health report Owen has functioning heart valves and arteries growing with him, as if they were his own. In the first of its kind surgery, arteries and valves from a donated heart were integrated into Owen's heart. Surgeons hoped this partial transplant would be a one-time fix. They say before Owen, it has only been tried on pigs, but the 8-hour surgery was a success. And now, doctors are optimistic there will be no more surgeries in Owen's future.
Wow.
That is fascinating.
Be something to follow in the future, won't it? Just to see how he grows and how his heart grows with him.
So now they can transfer just the valves and the arteries.
It's amazing.
Wow. March might be 2 months away, but 4 Utah college basketball programs are looking solid in the latest bracketology projections. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce has the breakdown live. Becky?
Amanda, only twice before have 4 Division I Utah schools made the tournament, but if the projections updated this week hold true, the third time might be the charm. ESPN's Joe Lunardi currently predicts BYU would be a number 3 seed facing 14 seed Weber State in the first round right here in Salt Lake City. He's got Utah as a 7 seed and Utah State as an 11 seed in the first 4. Of course, all of this is hypothetical until Selection Sunday, and we've got a ways to wait for that. Live, Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
But I can tell you from the past, Lenardi usually gets it right.
Yeah.
All right, BYU's leading scorer is getting high praise from ESPN's NBA draft analyst. Jackson Robinson is currently number 38 in the latest round of NBA draft rankings from ESPN's Jonathan Givony. The last time BYU had a player selected in the draft, I would guess most people would remember this, Jimmer Fredette, but it was clear back in 2011.
We have a new crash northbound on Bangerter Highway causing some slowing as you approach 3500 South. We'll check that and the rest of your commute just ahead.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
What is the NPS store? Let me tell you. It's a large warehouse and online store with items from everyday necessities to unique products. NPS has everything from home decor to clothes, furniture, electronics, hardware, groceries, and more. NPS receives new items daily, so it's always a different experience. Each time you shop, it's the best kept secret in Utah. NPS, a nice place to always save on all the things you didn't know you needed. Savings that can't be beat. 4 locations to serve you. Salt Lake, Orem, Layton. See you soon.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
One of the stories we're following this morning, and Adam just told us this, that West Davis Highway, which is scheduled to have its big opening in 3 days, is all paved, painted, and pretty much ready to go.
That'll be great.
That'll be a bit of a game changer for those of you coming or going from that part of the valley, and we'll continue to keep an eye on it for you.
7:39 now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Back to you, Andy.
Well, it's apparently a stalled vehicle in the left lane, northbound Bangerter, 3500 South West Valley. Got you back, though, all the way through West Valley, almost to 4700 South in Taylorsville. So Bangerter, not a good option northbound through West Valley at the moment. We've also got fog obscuring things and slowing traffic on I-80, which really the choke point is right at I-80 and the 201 split. The delays go back to Lake Point, but also on SR36, over a mile of delays just to get onto I-80. So going to have to be patient coming out of Tooele this morning, Heather.
We've got our first brake lights and slowdowns of the morning. Southbound I-15 in Davis County. This is between 200 North and Kaysville down into Farmington. That's typical this time of the morning. You also have a lot of congestion on Antelope Drive in Clearfield and Layton, as well as 5600 South in Roy. Eric.
Well, now we do have more sustained delays as you come away from Timpanogos Highway, northbound I-15 in Utah County. This is just approaching Point of the Mountain, and then as soon as you get to the Point of the Mountain, you're back up to a normal pace going into Salt Lake County. You also have some slowdowns, Bangerter Highway approaching 2100 North, and on Mountain View Corridor approaching that same intersection, 2100 North and Redwood Road. From the KSL Traffic Center, I'm Eric Butler.
Mostly cloudy today with a high of 43. Yes, still dealing with a little bit of haze. Overnight lows dipping off into the upper 20s. For tomorrow, cloudy with a chance for flurries, 37 the high. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Let me just refresh this and see if we're still where we, 25 degrees now downtown. Not much of a change.
Coming up in just a moment. So is 2024 the year you can finally afford a home? Aspiring homeowners want to know, is there good news in the forecast? That's just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Also just ahead, Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News. IRS harassing you? The law offices of Jordan Wilcox can help, so visit taxhelput.com.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. It's not just you.
My husband passed away. He had been ill for quite some time. And he did the taxes, but he forgot to send them in. He never sent the forms in. And this was the beginning of my nightmare.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
I got all these letters from the IRS telling me I owed them $63,000. I had a good friend that she said, you need an attorney. She said, call Jordan Wilcox.
You need someone to fight for you.
He said, Cynthia, we're going to give him $3,000. How does that sound? I started crying because I was overwhelmed.
Visit taxhelput.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit taxhelput.com.
You have it made in the shade with Jordan Wilcox.
That's taxhelput.com.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News is brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
I remember the olden times. You young'uns might not remember, but way back when we used to have something called normal. You'd celebrate the new year, go back to work. Sure, you'd spend a month or so losing weight or quitting smoking, resolutions. But basically, you earn a living, you raise a family, and that's what you do. Normal. But the youngest among us have never experienced this normal of which I speak. Their entire lives have been spent in a world lurching from crisis to crisis, hopscotching from outrage to outrage. Their world has been nothing but pandemics, school shootings, the incendiary politics, the angry white men, Black Lives Matter, protests, riots, an economy gone haywire. But as we begin 2024, maybe this is the year they get a little taste of normal. Inflation is almost where the experts say it should be. The supply chain is fixed. The quiet quitting is stopped. The Fed's expected to cut interest rates this year. COVID is just a nasty bug like any other. The death rate's about the same as the flu. And about all that outrage, here's your governor.
Over the next year, I'm hoping we can work together to do better. Democrats and Republicans, liberals, conservatives, and everything in between. Nothing is less American than hating our fellow Americans.
Maybe this is the year we chill out and instead put one foot in front of the other and live our day-to-day lives like they did in the olden times. 2014. All we have to do is ease up on the endless fury, be good examples to our kids, and you want to wash your hands for 30 seconds. Maybe then we get a normal 2024. It's on us to get it right.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
I'd love that. I hope he's right.
I'm so thankful for the optimism there because I have gotten to the point where I thought the abnormal was the normal these days.
Well, for a while it's been that way. But, we have to put things in perspective. Remember the 60s?
No.
Things were not normal in the 60s with, fire bombs everywhere and shootings on college campuses,
Yeah.
and that was crazy.
Every generation has their moment, don't they?
Yeah.
Jeff's back this afternoon. He'll help you get home between 3 and 7 o'clock on KSL, where the news time is 7:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
hypochondriacs are facing higher mortality rates due to chronic levels of stress. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Kimmett.
Second, a man has been sentenced up to 75 years in prison for randomly shooting at cars on I-15 back in 2021.
Third, let's check the drive with traffic and weather together.
Delays continue to be an issue out of Tooele County in the fog on SR 36 and I-80, and we've got a crash on Bangerter. Well, it's actually a stalled vehicle, but it's blocking the left lane, Bangerter at 3500 South in West Valley, backing you all the way past 4700 South in Taylorsville. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today, but a series of small storms coming. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 25 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's get a look at our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Dozens of people have been killed in Iran at an event honoring a prominent Iranian general who was killed in a U.S. airstrike in 2020. A senior official calls a series of explosions there terroristic attacks, and also that wounded more than 100 people. Israel is on high alert, especially along its northern border with Lebanon, after a top Hamas leader was killed in a drone strike in Beirut. Former President Trump's legal team appealing a decision by Maine's Secretary of State that banned Trump from appearing on the primary ballot. ABC Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams on what the state high court could do.
There is no doubt in my mind that they are going to take this case. They have to take this case. They're going to rule on this case. And the advantage that the Donald Trump team has is that if they accept any one of the arguments, he wins.
Several dozen House Republicans are slated to visit the U.S.-Mexico border today. They will tour Eagle Pass, Texas, with their new speaker, Mike Johnson. This is ABC News.
All right, let's go in depth here. Aspiring homeowners are wondering if 2024 will be the year they can finally afford a home.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has more.
This morning, with mortgage rates dropping, aspiring homeowners are wondering if 2024 could be the year they can finally afford to buy a home.
When we look at the housing market in 2023, it was incredibly difficult, especially for first-time homebuyers.
The National Association of Realtors predicts 2023 will stack up to be the worst year for home sales in more than a decade. But now there are encouraging signs. As inflation cools, the Federal Reserve has signaled it could cut interest rates 3 times this year, making it cheaper to borrow money for a new mortgage.
We do expect in 2024 that mortgage interest rates will continue to decline. They're down considerably. It opens up the affordability box for many potential home buyers.
After climbing to nearly 8% in October, the average rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage is now 6.6%, with analysts forecasting rates below 6% by the end of the year. That would save buyers $230 a month on their payments for a $400,000 mortgage. Welcome relief for Megan Zuckerman.
There were some places that I saw like over the summer where the rates were very high compared to what they may have cost just a few years ago. So it's definitely a very frustrating time to be looking.
Saddled with high rent and student loan payments, Zuckerman is among a growing number of millennials choosing to move in with her parents to cut costs.
I'm not currently paying rent, and I'm not, in a situation where my lease is up and I need to be out at a certain point.
Now she's saving $2,000 a month to put toward a down payment for her first home.
It is nice that I'm able to take my time to get to that 20% goal and hopefully be able to meet that soon.
Experts agree putting down 20% of the home's value is a good goal. And be sure to shop around with different lenders for the lowest mortgage rate.
Make sure that you have your financial house in order as you go into this scenario, paying down as much debt as you can and saving as much as you can.
So last year, millennials were priced out with mortgage payments around $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
On average.
And when you put $4,000...
No, that can't be average. Reaching $4,000 a month.
When you put $4,000 a month up against what the median household income is...
Oh, there's just no way.
What do you do?
There's no way. I mean, it makes me feel guilty at what my mortgage... has been all these years.
And by the way, if the median price of a home, let's just say it's $500,000, it's somewhere in that range, and they say that's best to put 20% down, they need $100,000 in cash to get into the house to get the $4,000 a month payment.
Otherwise, if you don't put down 20%, don't you have to pay mortgage insurance?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
just insurmountable, and I know that's a frustration for many. And rent is also a frustration for many. It's a story we're going to continue to keep an eye on for you on the In-Depth at 15 and 45. All right, speaking of a frustration, I know it's been that way for those of you coming in or out of Tooele County this morning. Let's get a look. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Yeah, and because of the fog, it hasn't improved at all. You're looking at an extra 20 minutes plus to get from Tooele County into the Salt Lake Valley with delays in Lake Point on SR 36 for over a mile. And then about a mile or so on I-80 from the Lake Point merge, where sometimes the fog is so thick you can't see too far in front of you. And then it does improve. At least traffic gets moving consistently after the 201 split on the border. And then we've got a broken down vehicle in the left lane of Bangerter Highway. The 3500 Southwest Valley's got traffic back now all the way to 5400 South in Taylorsville. So Bangerter's not the way to go through West Valley this morning. Heather?
We've got stop-and-go traffic southbound I-15 from 200 north in Kaysville past the ponds. That's pretty typical. What's not typical is northbound delays leaving 650 North area in Clearfield heading into Sunset. I haven't heard of a crash in that area, but there may be one. And then you have significant delays on 5600 South in Roy. That is all heading eastbound away from 3500 West toward the freeway. Eric?
And in Utah County, we do have a reason for those delays approaching Point of the Mountain. This is because of a crash, and it's been moved over to the right. Children Incident Management has just arrived on the scene. So you've got some delays now from Triumph Boulevard up to where the crash site is, and it thins out a little bit as you get up to Point of the Mountain, so that's still below normal pace there. Redwood Road also slow approaching 2100 North. That's a busy intersection this morning, probably the busiest in Utah County. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. All right, let's talk about the possibility for snow, Matt.
All right. Hey, beggars can't be choosers, so we're happy with the small storms headed our way. Let's get into it. Mostly cloudy today, 43. Haze already starting to clear out there. That's what we love to see. Thursday, that's tomorrow. Cloudy with a chance for flurries and maybe some snowfall for some of us, 37. Nothing too special. Friday, snow showers likely, 36. 35 with cloudy skies and a chance for snow late Saturday. Sunday looks like the better day for snow on that storm. 33 the high. 28 on Monday. That's a cold high. Coldest day yet this season, most likely. And 31 with a chance for snow on Tuesday. And so none of these storms look rather too strong. But you know what? This is something we're talking about. Some water coming into the state. We're going to take it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I know Christmas is over, but you're already on Santa's naughty list for next year.
I know.
There were 4 days of snow here when we started the morning, and you snuck in and took one day off on Saturday.
I decided honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, that's good. I'm with you, Matt.
Darn you. All right. He's just the middleman in all of this, by the way. It's 25 degrees in Salt Lake City. Just a quick reminder, we've got a special hour tomorrow. It's going to be fun during the noon hour to listen in for the big kickoff of Big 12 basketball, because the Cougs get it started with Cincinnati at home, by the way. Coming up on Saturday night. That's a game you'll hear here on KSL News Radio. We'll have the pregame for you at 7, tip-off at 8. But listen tomorrow at noon. Mitch will give you all the information, all the down low on the Big 12. Stay with us.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of doing it right.
Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget.
The power of experience.
We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com and get
the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. I've had people ask me, how does NPS, the nice place to save, have such great low prices? Well, they acquire their inventory from overstock, unclaimed and refused shipments from companies around the country, and it makes them possible for you to get these products that you want at unbelievable prices. And it's a win-win-win for everybody. I want to remind everybody, too, that when you shop at NPS, they're always competitive with their groceries. And then the incredible prices on most of the products throughout the store, it is amazing. They check their competitors' pricing first, then they mark down everything between 30 and 70% off, and then they have weekly offers and weekly sales where you can save additional amounts, 20 to 70% off the already reduced prices. New inventory comes in and every day, it's an adventure to shop at NPS, the nice place to save, in Orem, Layton, and 2 stores right here in Salt Lake City.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Representative John Curtis wants to be Senator John Curtis, replacing Mitt Romney. Curtis joins us live in studio, and I want to know why the flip-flop. He said he wanted to run, then he didn't. Now he is. John Curtis, today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Let's take a look at Utah's money here, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. World shares have dropped after Wall Street started 2024 with a slump, giving back some big gains from last year. U.S. futures were lower, oil prices declined. Some of the market's sharper drops came from the stocks that were last year's biggest winners. Apple had its worst day in nearly 5 months.
2 government spending bill deadlines are coming up pretty quick. One on January 19th, the other February 2nd. Congress already struggled to come to an agreement on the extension back in November. The forecasting site Kalshi thinks there is a 30% chance the government will shut down this month.
We were talking just a second ago about giving some things back here, some of the gains from 2023. More of that happening this morning. The Dow down 177. The S&P is off 24. The NASDAQ off 89 points.
It is time for Cougar Tracks, and here is KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper.
The Big 12 Conference boasts the nation's best basketball league. For 8 of the last 10 seasons, the Big 12 has been rated as the #1 conference by advanced metrics. The 2024 season is well on its way to being another big year for the Big 12, and BYU has the chance to compete through it all. Head coach Mark Pope knows this journey in the Big 12 will pose a lot of challenges.
I think we're really confident that we're going to get there. We'll see how long it takes us. I think we're really confident with some of the ingredients along the way. Like, we know we're going to be punched in the face. That's the nature of the Big 12. We know there was going to be moments as we go through this conference season where it's like, you know, things feel like a disaster and they're not working. That's part of the nature of being in the most competitive league in probably all of college sports.
To hear our interview with Mark Pope, tune into the BYU and the Big 12 season preview show tomorrow at noon, right here on KSL. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Because no 2 people sleep the same. Only the Sleep Number smart bed lets you each choose your individual firmness and comfort, your Sleep Number setting. The Climate 360 smart bed is so smart it actively cools or warms up to 13 degrees on either side for your ideal sleep temperature. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. The Queen Sleep Number C2 smart bed is now only $9.90 for a limited time. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Salt Lake. We know we can help you. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Made to shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
So last week, my boyfriend said, I have a surprise for you. And I totally thought he was going to propose, but it was just tickets to a baseball game. Then during the game, Will You Marry Me was up on the big screen, and he was down on one knee holding the most beautiful engagement ring. It was so sparkly.
Our expert jewelers set every center stone by hand, so you'll shine forever. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
We're just days away.
State lawmakers are already hard at work on a number of bills,
making decisions that affect you.
Utah's 2024 legislative session starts in January. Get updates on every bill with Tim and Amanda mornings and Jeff Kaplan afternoons. Eye on the Hill 2024
on KSL News Radio.
7:59, traffic and weather brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, travel is really backed up coming out of Tooele County because of foggy conditions this morning. Slowdowns in Lake Point and on I-80, although it looks like the I-80 delays are starting to break up a little. We do have slowdowns in West Valley that are pretty rough right now. They did clear the stalled vehicle from the left lane right before 3500 South. That's the cause of the delay. But the slowing itself starts just after 6200 South, or excuse me, 5400 South in Taylorsville, all the way up to 3500 South. We'll see how long it takes that to clear out now that the problem is gone. Heather?
We still have slowdown southbound I-15 in Kaysville. That's pretty typical this time of the morning. And now we're starting to pick up some slowdowns on Legacy Parkway. That is all heading northbound due to lane restrictions. You shouldn't have too many issues, though, on the other roadways in Weber and Davis County, except for some congestion on some of the city streets. Eric?
One delay spot in Utah County on I-15 is because of a crash north of Timpanogos Highway. That's backing things up to around Triumph Boulevard, but that crash is over on the right shoulder, and things should be improving fairly soon. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
43 today, last of the 40s for a while now, and some cold temps. Monday, Tuesday, overnight lows in the teens to start the morning.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
Texas could face a federal lawsuit over a new law that would soon allow their local authorities to arrest and prosecute illegal immigrants.
Some big cities are also calling for federal intervention when it comes to busing large groups of migrants in without notice. Our live team coverage, Crisis at the Border, begins with KSL News Radio's Adam Small. Adam?
Amanda, Texas's new law, which takes effect in March, has gotten a lot of criticism. However, the Department of Justice takes it a step further. They actually believe the new law is unconstitutional and have threatened to sue over it. At the same time, New York City officials are calling out Texas Governor Greg Abbott. They accuse him of skirting a new order from Mayor Eric Adams that requires bus operators to give a day and a half's notice when they bring in migrants.
He can't be reasoned with. He can't be negotiated with. He just wants to watch this country burn.
The harsh words coming from New York City Deputy Mayor for Communications, Fabian Levy. Apparently, around 400 migrants were dropped off at a train station in New Jersey so they could take the train into the city. 4 Chicago suburbs have also now passed ordinances to fine bus companies who drop off migrants with no notice. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The migrant crisis is now hitting American suburbs far from the southern border. Our live team coverage, Crisis at the Border, continues now with ABC's Ika Jachi.
Hundreds of migrants were dropped off at bus and train stations outside New York City after Mayor Eric Adams issued an order requiring buses carrying migrants into New York give 32 hours notice. A similar situation in Chicago, where 4 suburbs passed an ordinance last night prohibiting the transport of large groups of people without an approved application. Since 2022, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has bused more than 80,000 migrants from Texas to so-called sanctuary cities. Mayor Adams' administration furious with Abbott, even comparing him to the Joker in The Dark Knight.
A White House official says funding for the border crisis is undergoing negotiations.
Just outside of Chicago, residents showed up in force at a city council meeting last night with big concerns about what they're seeing.
First person I saw was a young little kid in a little teeny stroller. Couldn't have been but 3 years old. Kid looked sick. I wanted to pick him up and take him to the hospital.
One Woodstock, Illinois council member said they received migrants from age 18 months to senior citizens, and none of them dressed for the Chicago winter weather.
A key border crossing that's been closed for a month in Arizona is set to reopen this week. KSL News Radio's Nick Sadowski has more now from Phoenix.
The Biden administration is reopening the Lukeville port of entry tomorrow morning at 6. It's been closed since December 4th so that personnel who usually man the crossing could be redirected to help Border Patrol take migrants into custody. Customs and Border Protection says operations are resuming in Eagle Pass, Texas, San Diego, and Nogales.
The Lukeville port of entry is the main crossing point for travelers heading between Phoenix and Rocky Point, which is a popular beach getaway. Arizona businesses say having it closed has hurt their bottom line.
We're getting a better idea now of exactly what happened before a man from Park City was found dead at Salt Lake International Airport. KSL TV's Shelby Lofton spoke to a nurse who witnessed the event.
Passenger Kaylee Nelson waited in her seat while the pilot announced they were taking off slightly later than scheduled.
There was a medical emergency on the de-icing pad, and then the police showed up.
Across the tarmac, Nelson used her cell phone to zoom in on the body she saw lying underneath the engine.
They put his body into an ambulance, and the ambulance didn't drive away. And I know that if that happens, then they're no longer living.
The man was later identified as 30-year-old Kyle Effinger. It's still not clear how he died.
The parent of a teen who wound up on a flight to Puerto Rico instead of Cleveland over the holiday says his son had his headphones on during the pre-flight announcement, and Frontier Airlines operates flights to both cities out of the same gate in Tampa.
If he would have landed in another state, I could have just gotten in a car and drove, had him on the phone and said, hey, Logan, just don't do anything, just stay there. I'll be there in X amount of hours. I can't do that when he's in Puerto Rico.
The airline says Logan was flown back to Tampa immediately, then on to Cleveland the next day.
He's got a story to tell.
He does.
First look traffic now, and here is Andy Farnsworth.
Well, Amanda, we got the stalled vehicle cleared from Bangor at 3500 South, and now the delays are thinning out, but still there between 47th and 35th, but that's an improvement. We still have delays in Tooele County on SR 36 and I-80 because of fog. We've got some southbound delays on I-15 going down through Farmington. Looks like they've blocked off the right lane under that new overpass for the interchange that's going to be open up for the West Davis corridor soon. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
The man accused of shooting at random drivers in Juab County is headed to prison after pleading guilty.
Adam Lloyd Gein is convicted of 5 counts of attempted murder after shooting at random cars on I-15. It was back in 2021 when police responded to multiple shots fired on the freeway between Nephi and Scipio. Gein was in an SUV shooting people from behind, hitting 5 different drivers. He took a plea deal, reducing his charges. His attorney said he was drinking at the time and not in his right mind. He faces anywhere from 5 to 75 years in prison. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
A Utah state lawmaker had a medical emergency in the lobby of a Cache Valley radio station. Representative Dan Johnson was getting ready for an interview with KVNU when he started feeling ill. The Cache Valley Daily reports radio station employees assisted while waiting for paramedics to arrive. Family members say as of last night, Johnson was in stable condition.
A small-town meeting house in Sevier County will stay closed while the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints makes sure that it's safe after a carbon monoxide leak that sickened dozens of people. Sheriff Nathan Curtis tells KSL-TV that carbon monoxide poisoning should never be taken lightly.
It comes on quick, and if you aren't paying attention to it and don't get care, you may not wake up.
The good news this morning, everyone is expected to make a full recovery.
Anyone suffering from illness anxiety disorder or hypochondria is actually at greater risk of dying early. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with that story. Michael?
Amanda, this study comes from Swedish researchers who worked with over 4,000 people diagnosed with hypochondria, or the fear of being sick. Well, it turns out, constantly being anxious about your health or doubting doctors' assurances causes alarming levels of stress. This chronic stress can do a number to your body's white blood cells, according to the Cleveland Clinic. Hypochondriacs face an 84% higher chance of all-cause mortality when compared to those who aren't diagnosed. So if you know someone who is affected by hypochondria, then the Health Direct says to let them know you're there for them, listen, and help them actually listen to the advice of a doctor. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
We've got big backups that continue on Bangor Highway in West Valley City. Also, northbound SR 36 in Tooele County. We'll check both of those spots for you when we check traffic and weather together next.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Start the new year on the right note. Join the Utah Symphony January 4th through 6th for a program featuring the work Beethoven himself considered one of his best. Experience world-class musicians performing his exhilarating 7th Symphony, along with works by Mozart and more. Plus, before the performance, everyone, even adults, can try a musical instrument at our instrument petting zoo in the lobby. Tickets start at $21. Get yours at utahsymphony.org. Listen to the greatest classical hits from the 1700s to today. The Utah Symphony's Masterworks concerts offer elegant and entertaining evenings at Marisa Brovnal Hall in the heart of Salt Lake City, featuring timeless masterpieces by Beethoven, Dvorak, and Mozart, and even world premieres from modern composers. Tickets start as low as $21. Get yours at utahsymphony.org.
Boy, with word that 302,000 migrants crossed the southern border in December alone, which was a record, we will continue to follow and have team coverage for you on the migrant crisis throughout the day. KSL News Time 8:09. Time for that look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with Dino Pay. Andy, we've got a couple of trouble spots.
Yeah, but we're seeing some improvement finally. The fog hasn't lifted, but we've still got some delays coming out of Tooele. They're about half what they were earlier, and traffic is moving a little more consistently. Lake Point onto I-80 and then up to the SR 201 split. All lanes are open on Bangerter at 3500 South now, and those delays are quickly clearing up between 47th and 3500 South. Main corridor of I-15 from Draper to downtown, only a bit heavy in South Salt Lake near 3300 South. Heather?
Well, we've got pretty good speeds on southbound I-15 from Ogden into Farmington, but just after you pass Park Lane, you're going to see some slowdowns all the way into the Centerville area. It's due to an earlier crash that had been blocking a right lane and shoulder, but that was cleared. All the lanes are now open. It's just taking time for those delays to resolve themselves. You don't have any problems, though, on Legacy Parkway or the West Side Belt if you need to use those to get to the airport. Eric?
Still have some delays exiting Utah County northbound I-15 because of a crash just north of Timpanogos Highway. They actually tried to move this crash up the line, it looks like they were trying to get it up to the Bluffdale exit, but rounding point of the mountain, things broke down for our little mini convoy, and so it's still over up against the right barrier, and hopefully you'll not have too many delays going through there, but it is still happening. The rest of I-15 looks good in Utah County, as is Redwood Road if you're northbound trying to get out of the county that way. Update your kitchen with Durden's Appliance, where they meet any competitor's price. Visit Durdens.com or on 5th South and Bountiful. Durden's, brands you know at prices you'll love. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
All right, a small storm is sliding to our south into Las Vegas. That will spread showers into southern Utah, but clouds for northern Utah. High of 43 with some haze out there. 28 overnight, increasing clouds and flurries. For your Thursday, 37, cloudy, and a chance for some flurries. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
No direct sunshine out there yet. Still 25 degrees.
We learned that Congressman John Curtis is going to run for the Senate seat that Mitt Romney currently holds. He's going to join David Dujanovic coming up, and we'll talk to Debbie about it just ahead.
Stay with us. You'll find us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
We just had a story on this morning about how 2024 might be the year you can get into a new home. So if you've been thinking about, man, we just need a bigger house, or we need a smaller house because it's time to downsize, and you've been putting it off, why not call our friends at the Stern team and talk to them? I went through Cammie at the Stern team, and she was amazing. Can I just say that? She was amazing.
Well, and here's the thing. They can help you decide, give you a ballpark of where you're going to start if you're looking to sell your home by simply going to their website. You just click on them. We did this while we had them on the phone, actually. Yeah. You click on sell right there at the top of the home page and go to home evaluation, load in your address, and literally within 30 seconds, you can find out a ballpark of what you'd be looking at.
Right. And tell them what your unique situation is. Maybe you sell and then you can't move for a few months, or you've got an interesting financial situation. They have dealt with the most complicated situations, and they can handle yours in the best way for you.
And by the way, just to give you a comparison, the average Salt Lake City agent sells 8 homes a year. The Stern team helps over 400 families reach their goals every year, and maybe this year, as you said, is yours.
Get the winning team behind you with the biggest decision of your life to sell your home or buy a new home.
Go to thesternteam.com or just Google the Stern team.
Looking for the best show deals on new and used RVs? You'll find them only in Ogden during the Northern Utah RV Show, January 11th through the 15th. We're bringing in new and used inventory and low show pricing inside the Golden Spike Event Center. For 4 full days, shop new and used travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, and more from the nation's top brands. Find early season discount pricing on all new models and fantastic used RV discounts like a 2011 Dutchman 185 DB Sport for just $9,995. You'll also find that every remaining 2023 is being sold at clearance pricing during the event. Plus, get no payments until April on approved credits and huge trade-in offers on your current RV. Go to NorthUtahRVShow.com to shop the best deals first. This show season, you'll find it all in Ogden. Admission and parking are free to the Northern Utah RV Show, January 11th through the 15th inside the Golden Spike Event Center. Open daily at 10 a.m., closed Sunday. Then we're back at it Monday, Martin Luther King Day from 10 to 5. Sponsored by Bish's RV. Don't miss it.
KSL News Time, 8:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
hypochondriacs are facing higher mortality rates due to chronic levels of stress. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Clement.
Second, the Justice Department is threatening to sue Texas over a new law allowing local and state officials to enforce border security.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Still have a few slow spots. South 15 in Farmington, northbound at Lehigh, and then on Bangerter near 3500 South. The foggy conditions are improving, but not completely clear, but we still have some slowing on I-80 out by Lake Point as well. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy with showers in the southern half. I'm Matt Johnson.
25 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Iowa caucuses less than 2 weeks away now, and Donald Trump is still far and away the Republican frontrunner. His legal team appealing a decision by Maine's Secretary of State that banned him from appearing on the primary ballot. ABC Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams says a former president could have an advantage if the case goes to the U.S. Supreme Court.
There are various arguments to be made, and I think the most important one is this argument about due process, right? Which is, where has he been charged with an insurrection? Who has decided? In Colorado, they would say, well, there was a judge that resolved this question, et cetera. But there are real legal arguments that Donald Trump has, and because there's a menu of outs for the court, they're going to find one.
U.S. cities are dealing with waves of migrants, record numbers at the southern border, and in cities like New York, Denver, and Chicago.
Buses are being used as warming centers for arriving migrants. More than 28,000 have arrived here in Chicago since August of 2022, and the city is now running more than 24 shelters to temporarily house them.
ABC's Alex Perez in Chicago. A group of about 60 House Republicans are headed to Eagle Pass, Texas today to see the immigration influx for themselves. While back in Washington, hearings are set to begin on an effort to impeach the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Having presided over the agency charged with securing the border at a time of unprecedented stress at the border, Alejandro Mayorkas is poised to be only the second cabinet member in history to be impeached by the House. The first was Secretary of War William Belknap in 1876. Republicans say the Homeland Security Secretary has engaged in, quote, egregious misconduct and refusal to enforce the law.
ABC national correspondent Stephen Portnoy in Washington. Dozens of people have been killed in Iran at an event honoring a prominent Iranian general who was killed in a U.S. airstrike in 2020. More than 100 people there were wounded. You're listening to ABC News.
All right, so now we know Congressman Jon Stewart will be running to replace Mitt Romney in the Senate. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Curtis.
Jon Stewart, that's
I'm just here to correct you, Tim.
Well, let me tell you something. I seriously feel like I need a game board with all the moving pieces.
I
right
agree.
now.
I agree. And I've made the same mistake on air before, especially, and I'm sure he's heard that before. But yeah, Representative John Curtis announcing yesterday that he is going to make a run for Senate after all. And if you are keeping your game board, let me just walk you through the evolution of this decision. In September, after Senator Mitt Romney announced he was not going to be seeking re-election, Curtis said it was a 9 out of 10 that he would possibly run for Senator Romney's seat. Well, then just a few days later in an op-ed in the Deseret News, here's the headline from John Curtis. I'm staying the course in the House. To walk away now would leave a commitment unfulfilled. So that was in October. And then yesterday, he makes this major announcement that he has made the decision to completely go all in on a race for Senate. Now, he represents people in the 3rd District here in Utah. He's going to be in studio with us starting at 10 o'clock this morning. We're going to keep him around for a half hour. Hopefully he'll stick it out with us. We've got a lot of questions about stuff that's going on back in Washington, D.C., like what's going on with the budget. This recent, I think it's today that 60 representatives are heading to the southern border, wondering if he was invited to go along and then chose not to, and what his ideas are for border policy as well. So we've got a lot to talk to him about. Also, like, why the change of heart? And if you are former lawmaker and former Speaker of the House here in Utah, Brad Wilson, who made the decision to get into this race to run for Senate, and now you learn that a heavy hitter is also in the race, who is no stranger to running campaigns for federal office, would you have left and resigned from the Utah House in the first place? Or would you stuck it out? He's been a lawmaker up on Capitol Hill here in Utah. Brad Wilson has for about 12 years. So we're going to examine and explore that angle to this developing story as well. There's a lot of palace intrigue going on with this.
There is indeed. And we'll be waiting for the game board and the rules that go along with
Curtis is in studio today at 10, Tim.
Okay.
Write that down.
All right. Dave and Deb coming up top of the hour, 9 o'clock. And this portion of Utah's Morning News is brought to you by Revere Health.
8:19 now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. Brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, much improvement now, especially in West Valley on Bangerter Highway. Delays are almost gone, approaching 3500 south. If you're trying to go through West Valley, you don't need to switch to alternates any longer. Traffic on I-80 out of Tooele back to the speed limit as well, although still a little bit of slowing on SR-36 in Tooele County, but only maybe a quarter mile just before you get on to I-80 itself. Heather?
Looks like we're back to normal speeds the entire stretch from Ogden to Salt Lake on I-15, as well as on Legacy Parkway in the West Side Belt. We've not had any delays all morning long on US 89 or I-84. City streets still have a little bit of congestion in Clearfield and Roy, but those are returning to normal as well. Eric?
Although the crash is still there in Utah County, northbound I-15 rounding point of the mountain. It's over on the right shoulder, and at this particular spot, unlike its former spot further back, it is not causing any delay. So right now you've got normal movement from Provo all the way to point of the mountain. That's a 20-minute drive if you're getting on at University Avenue. Don't miss the amazing Utah Auto Expo, January 12th through 15th at the Mountain America Exposition Center. See the newest cars, trucks, electric vehicles, all in a non-selling environment. AutoExpoUtah.com. I'm Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, mostly cloudy today with a high of 43. Tomorrow, 37, cloudy and a chance for flurries. Snow showers likely on Friday, 36. We go for snow showers again on Saturday, 35. Maybe a more robust storm on Sunday, but right now the track of that storm for Sunday does look like it continues to slide south. High of 33 then. 28's all you get for Monday, partly cloudy, and a chance for snow showers again as we work into Tuesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Didn't Matt explain to us one morning about why we always get colder just before the sunrise? Because you're the longest distance, I guess, from the warmest point yesterday.
You remembered what he said. I had totally forgotten.
Yeah, I mentioned it because that's what's happening out there. We've been 25 all morning, and just before the sun comes up, it's 23 downtown.
I keep thinking, Tim, about how when a person decides to run for office or to leave office, the effect that has on so many people.
Oh, yeah.
All the people that work for that individual. Will they still have a job if that person is not elected to the new office? Or, and I'm sure that if you are a communications director or you work in any capacity in a congressional office, you are used to this challenge. But literally, if your guy doesn't get elected, you don't have, or you have to change jobs.
And if you're in Congress, that's every 2 years.
The insecurity of that, particularly if you had a family, I think that would be difficult. Anyway, I don't know what got me thinking about that, but just thinking about the ramifications.
Well, you'd be
these
constantly
decisions.
networking back there just in case, wouldn't you?
For sure.
By the way, the 7-day forecast today is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful, and we'll check money news next.
At Revere Health, we understand that a proactive approach to maintaining your health increases the potential to lead an active, healthy life. Routine preventative care helps detect problems early, helping to reduce or eliminate health complications in the future. Annual health screenings are an important measure you can take to prevent chronic issues from limiting your activity. Schedule a wellness checkup and begin your journey to a healthier life. Revere Health. Your partner in health. Your partner for life.
I had no idea what the world of cabinets might hold for me, but Euromax has opened my eyes to what cabinets should be. This is Hans Olsen, and I eat a lot of food. With that comes storing a lot of food, and Euromax has customized that for me. Deep shelves for extra storage, LED lights that come on as the door opens so I can eat at night, charging ports for phones or iPads, spice racks, elevated shelving for cans, glass fronts or specific color and texture fronts, deep pull-out drawers for pots and pans, and all of it waterproof and warranted for life. The perfect place to store my most prized possession, my food. Mike and Max have 35-plus combined years of experience from America to Europe to form the most unique blend of traditional American craftsmanship and authentic European design. You can head to their showroom in Pleasant Grove or check out all the possibilities at EuromaxFurniture.com. Sleek, elegant, innovative design, fashioned in Europe, and installed right here in Utah. That's EuromaxFurniture.com. Euromax, built for you.
Dave and Dujanovic. Representative John Curtis wants to be Senator John Curtis, replacing Mitt Romney. Curtis joins us live in studio, and I want to know why the flip-flop. He said he wanted to run, then he didn't. Now he is. John Curtis, today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Almost 7,000 pounds of ground beef products are being recalled for possible E. coli contamination. There haven't been any illnesses reported yet, but officials believe many of it may still be sitting in freezers. A full list of the recalled meat is available on the FDA's website.
I thought these chicken wars had died down, but evidently not. The Crack Shack, which we're learning a lot about this morning, has been bought out by Houston, Texas Hot Chicken. The restaurant currently has one location in Lehigh, and the Main Street Crack Shack should be rebranded and reopened by late February.
And there's one on 9th and 9th, too, we learned today.
Yeah, and somebody else texted in and said, oh, there's one downtown.
Right, yeah.
I've never even seen one, I don't think.
The U.S. is in some serious debt. The Treasury says the nation's gross national debt has surpassed $34 trillion. This comes after the temporary lift to the nation's debt limit last year after the government ran up against its legal borrowing capacity. That agreement lasts until January of 2025.
All right, Market Watch reporting a couple of headlines here. I don't know whether this has much, if anything, to do with the slide this morning in some of the trading, but U.S. manufacturing sector has contracted 14 months in a row, and job openings slide to a 32-month low in the U.S. Markets have been red all morning. We're down 212 right now on the Dow. We're off about 31 points. That's almost 0.7% on the S&P. And again today, we're down a full percentage point on the NASDAQ. It's off 140.
Last time we talked to the traffic center, I think they said things were looking a little better after some problems earlier this morning. But let's get another look in depth at traffic and weather together coming up.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. I get a lot of emails from people all the time. Here's one. Dear Dan, I hear your talk about a lifetime service guarantee. Free? Really? Please help me avoid all your fine print and be honest about what free means. You understand that we should be very wary of a free offer. Signed, Skeptical. Hi, Skeptical. I remember 22 years ago when we started PC Laptops and our lifetime service guarantee, people thought it was too good to be true. Well, after a decade, people started believing me a little bit. But it's been 22 years of having the privilege to serve our friends and neighbors like you. Our lifetime service guarantee has become the most trusted warranty in the industry. You can get a brand new PC Laptops desktop computer, and they start at only $29 a month. Check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com. Here's to seeing you soon, Skeptical.
It's only a minute of news. How long could it take? I do a lot of surfing late at night. I'm looking at all my favorite internet sources, Wall Street Journals, New York Times. People throw me ideas, but when I sit down in the morning and it's time to write, it has to resonate with me. I have to have something to say about it. It is my minute of news.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Born Michael King Jr. on January 15th, almost 100 years ago.
Rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice.
Minister, activist, and civil rights leader. His message, as important today as it was then.
Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children.
We honor the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
at KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 8:29. Traffic and weather together. Again, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy, how are things?
Well, things have really improved as far as traffic volume and delays. Now, I-80 still really foggy, but the slowdowns are almost gone. You only have a little bit of delay on SR 36 at a couple of intersections in Lake Point. And then once you're on I-80, you're able to keep the speed limit. 201 and I-80 through the Valley haven't seen any issues for a while. And Bangor back to normal now through West Valley, completely cleared from earlier delays at 3500 South. Heather?
No slowdowns right now in Weber, Davis County on I-15 or US 89. But if you're coming out of Weber Canyon, moving between Morgan and Mountain Green, that's westbound I-84. We do have some delays there. I'm not sure if this is due to a crash or possibly some lane restrictions happening. But the city streets are also a little bit congested in Roy and Clearfield, but they are quickly clearing out. Eric?
We have some usual delays out in the Wasatch back eastbound I-80 approaching Kimball Junction, and then further up ahead approaching Silver Creek. If you're southbound on US 40 and then turning to go into Park City on Kearns Boulevard, you've got your usual slowdowns there as well. Now, the slowdowns in Utah County, northbound I-15 from SR 92 up to Point of the Mountain are no longer there. Although the crash is there, it's further up the road than where it originally happened. They tried moving everything up towards the Bluffdale exit, but only were so successful right now. They're waiting to get that thing moving again. Just stick to the left and pay attention. You'll be all right. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, Matt told us that beggars can't be choosers. So if we get any snow, it's not going to be as big of a storm as we were hoping.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll see some snow tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday. Those are the 3 days that look like they have snow possibility. And maybe Tuesday of next week as well. Right now, though, just partly cloudy and 23 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Ryan Smith is spearheading a project to build a major hub in Provo for startups.
KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more. Michael?
This project is called the River District, and the Qualtrics founder and Jazz owner is funding the build himself. Now, this is more than just a tech hub hangout. This whole project includes 198 residencies and over 300,000 square feet of office space for Provo's thriving entrepreneurial scene. This background, combined with a history of pioneering spirit, is what Smith hopes will turn Provo into a ground zero for intellectual and technological development. Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Now, our top national story this hour. The investigation continues in Tokyo after that deadly fiery collision between a Coast Guard plane and a passenger jet.
Investigators say they have now found the black box on that Coast Guard plane. They say they're still working to find the data recorders for Flight 516. That as the investigation now focuses on what the air traffic controllers told each of those pilots.
I just saw this morning 100 flights at that airport have been canceled.
Oh, wow.
Today because they're still doing their investigation. That, by the way, is ABC's Matt Gutman reporting in a statement. Japan Airlines says they had clearance to land and praised the crew for getting all the passengers to safety.
Just one day into the candidate filing window, and there are already 4 Republicans who say they plan to run to replace Senator Mitt Romney. They include the son of the late Senator Orrin Hatch, Brent Hatch, the mayor of Riverton, Trent Staggs, former House Speaker Brad Wilson, and Congressman John Curtis.
And at least 4 people have expressed interest now in replacing Congressman Curtis now that he's running for the Senate. KSL.com reports that State Senator Mike Kennedy and the founder of Circus Tricks, Case Lawrence, have exploratory committees for a 3rd district run. Former State Representative Chris Herrott has told the Deseret News he'd be interested. That happened last month. And former Utah County Republican Party Chair Stuart Pay has announced he plans to run.
If you're interested in running for office, the window to file is much shorter than it used to be.
If running for office was one of your New Year's resolutions, you have until the end of business day this coming Monday, January 8th. Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson says the new filing deadline applies to partisan candidates in federal, statewide, county, and local races. One exception is independent presidential candidates after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sued, saying the date in early January violated the rights of voters. They'll have until March 5th. The date was moved up thanks to a change in Utah law from the second Friday in March to this Monday. Henderson says candidates can file in her office or their county clerk's office. Doors open at 8 a.m. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
KSL weather now with Matt Johnson. Today's our last quiet day until we start to see some action.
43 the high today, mostly cloudy skies. Now, an active pattern does set up with multiple storms trying to get into the west. However, none of them look terribly strong for the state of Utah. However, what's going to happen is we're going to see colder weather move in, more winter-like with snow chances, and yes, cleaner air.
Looks like it'll get progressively cooler, too, over the next week. Tomorrow's high 37.
UDOT says there isn't much left to do before they can open the West Davis Highway this weekend. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
All that's left is some cosmetic work, landscaping, and the final inspections. The road, the lines, the signs, the trail system are all ready to go. UDOT spokesperson Mitch Shaw says if anything, you might see a lane closure here or there after opening for some of that off-road work, but that's it. And they got this all done 6 months early.
It's the biggest highway project that UDOT will have completed in over 10 years.
Starting Saturday morning at 11:30, you'll officially be able to start driving on the highway throughout western Davis County between I-15 and Centerville, all the way to SR 193 in West Point. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Andy's back with your first look traffic. Man, that fog is sticky out there, isn't it?
Yeah, the good news is that the volumes of traffic have decreased a bit through the Lake Point and I-80 areas of Tooele County, but unfortunately the fog has actually spread further down into Tooele County now too, so just be careful. We do have some slowing just popping up now on I-15 northbound just before you cross over 215 in the middle of the Salt Lake Valley, but otherwise the I-15 corridor is looking pretty good. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
For just the third time in state history, Utah could have 4 schools in the NCAA tournament.
Inside, 8 scores with 2 seconds.
It's been more than 40 years since Danny Ainge's buzzer beater put BYU in the Elite Eight, but this year, ESPN bracketologist Joe Lunardi is predicting the Cougars could be one of 4 Utah Division I schools in the NCAA tournament. Number 3 seed BYU would face 14 seed Weber State at the Delta Center in the first round. He's also projecting Utah as a 7 seed playing in Indianapolis, and Utah State making it into the first 4 game in Dayton as an 11 seed. Of course, it's all hypothetical, and we still have a lot of basketball to play before March. Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
And from basketball to football, this one stings a little bit if you're a Utah fan. Utah defensive end Jonah Ellis is the latest Ute to declare for the 2024 NFL Draft. He made the announcement on Instagram last night. KSL Sports reports that Ellis has 18 starts and 35 career games for the Utes. He, of course, is the son of Utah great Luther Ellis.
Students at a school in Kaysville helped come up with their own no-phone policy, and the school says it's actually been a big hit. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has more.
The idea was first brought to parents, then the community council. According to Centennial Junior High's principal, Mercy Ross Mango, students have responded positively to the no phone in the classroom policy, with incentives like ice cream parties for classes that have a clean record. A 3-strike rule is part of the policy. Students are still able to use their phones outside of the classroom, with teachers reporting students are more focused and less distracted.
Last year, a bill to ban cell phones at schools in Utah officially was shot down.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
The Tutus, Warren and Taylor Swift Shake It Off music video, rented from Ballet West back in 2015. Now they're getting dusted off and cleaned to be used in the company's Lake Swan production starting next month. Or Swan Lake. Did I say Lake Swan? Swan Lake. I just can't picture Swan Lake and Shake It Off in the same breath.
It would be sort of cool though to think, I'm wearing the same tutu that Taylor Swift wore?
Yeah.
Wow.
The costumes, by the way, will be back on stage, just not worn by Taylor herself.
Most of the earlier delays are gone, but still foggy out there in Tooele County. We'll check the commute traffic and weather together coming up next.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Jeff Kaplan here for my good friends at Advanced Window Products. Jake Weber and Nate Orchard are spreading the holiday cheer with their biggest sale of the year. If the wind whistles through your windows, if you want a fresh new look for your #1 investment, your home, call Advanced Window Products and take advantage of this incredible end-of-year sale. Replace all of your windows and frames, and you get $2,500 off. But that's not all. You get a free premium glass upgrade. Insulate your home against the cold with double-pane windows and stylish frames, any style, any color, and they're built custom right here at their headquarters in Salt Lake City for 37 years. They build the windows, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. Plus, an additional $2,500 off and a free premium glass upgrade. You can save now, pay later, so take advantage. Call now, Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100, 801-850-9100, or visit advancedwindowsusa.com.
We are shuffling the deck when it comes to both our congressional representatives and our Senate seat. They're going to try and sort it all out for you on David Dujanovic this morning, coming up at 9 o'clock.
8:39 now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Amanda, it's a crash that's causing our delay right over the 215 interchange in Murray right now. A couple vehicles over to the far left. Looks like people are moving, well, sort of moving out of the HOV lane. They are over to the crash vehicles are over to the far left. We don't have any more slowdowns out of Tooele County on I-80, but we still have foggy conditions that you'll want to maybe reduce your speeds. Be careful. Give yourself some room between you and the person in front of you. Heather?
No delays in Weber-Davis County on the major freeways. We did have some slowdowns on I-84 westbound leaving Morgan, but those have cleared up now. You still have a little bit of congestion on a few of the city streets, but it's pretty normal. It's just when lights turn red at the larger intersections and traffic backs up. Eric?
In Utah County, the I-15 crash northbound right at Point of the Mountain still there. It's right over there on the right shoulder up against the right barrier. And right now it's not causing delays, although a little while ago this was further back towards Timpanogos Highway. And at that point it was causing delays, but we did have more congestion back then as well. You still have some slowdowns getting over to the freeway, 2100 North at Mountain View Corridor as it turns into 2100 North at Redwood Road, and then further up the line at 2300 West. That's where you're going to see the slowest spots. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Kindness is here. Hello, Kindnesses. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today with a high of 43. A little bit of haze as we've seen some improvement. 28 overnight goes to 37 with cloudy skies tomorrow. And yes, a chance for some flurries. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, they say it's mist out there and 23 degrees.
Well, members of Congress don't come back till next week, but they are working right now with a couple of senators and the White House trying to get this deal done for border security that is still tied to aid to Ukraine. We heard more from Karen Travers about the details, and we'll share it with you next on KSL.
You'll always find us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Up to a 30% upfront bonus and 12% per year guaranteed growth for retirement. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and these are the highest guarantees with annuities I have seen in my life. When interest rates are this high, there are silver linings, and annuity guarantees are one of them. Up to a 30% bonus upfront for retirement income. On $100,000, that's up to $42,000 guaranteed in the first year. And it's because of the economy and its high interest rates. Don't let anyone, especially another financial advisor, tell you it's not true. Up to 30% upfront just for opening an account and up to 12% per year guaranteed income growth. Don't miss out. This won't last forever. If you have an old 401k, get up to 30% upfront and 12% guaranteed growth for income today.
Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Introducing Yes, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. We're bringing all of Utah's favorite HVAC, plumbing, and electrical brands under one roof. Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Yes, and you could save up to $4,500 through possible tax credits and other discounts. Purchase a new system today, and Yes will buy back your old inefficient HVAC system. Visit theyesmancan.com to schedule your appointment. Call now or visit theyesmancan.com for details, terms, and conditions.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of a cut above.
Decades of expertise to transform your home. From so-so to virtuoso.
The power of neighborhood painters.
We live where you live and probably like the same pizza place you do. Put
the power of pro
to work for you today. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Dave and Dujanovic. One of the best ways to get listeners involved in the conversation is to have a clear opinion.
Listener participation. We invite phone calls all the time, and Dave and we're learning things from them too.
Listen for Dave and Dujanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 8:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
the Department of Justice is threatening to sue Texas over a new law that would allow state authorities to arrest and prosecute illegal immigrants. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, gas prices continue to drop nationwide. Here in Utah, we're averaging $2.83 a gallon, down a penny every day in the last week.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Now, apparently, we have two crashes in Murray. The one that we have got to look at is over to the left shoulder, just over the top of 215. And now we have one near 53rd South that's over to the right shoulder. So that's our slow freeway spot in the Salt Lake Valley right now. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today, but a series of small storms coming. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 23 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. U.S. cities dealing with waves of migrants. They continue being shipped north as officials take in record numbers at the southern border. About 60 House Republicans will be in Eagle Pass, Texas today, taking a look for themselves as the White House continues discussions with members of the Senate on a more permanent solution. Here's ABC's Andy Field in Washington.
Biden administration officials saying they're encouraged about border talks in the Senate that would call for more enforcement agents and tougher rules on what migrants would be allowed into the U.S. The president's aides also saying they made progress with their meeting in Mexico last week on that country, helping stop the flow of undocumented migrants. Despite the positive progress report, there's still no word from the Senate on any pending deal.
American employers posted 8.8 million job openings in November, down slightly from October, but demand for workers remains strong by historical standards, even in the face of those higher interest rates. This is ABC News.
Let's go in depth now. Lawmakers struggling to make a deal on border policy, and it's still tied to aid packages for Ukraine and Israel.
ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers joined us earlier.
This is the same thing we were talking about before the holidays. It's the same negotiators. They're still having these same conversations about how to reach a deal on border policy provisions in order to unlock that entire supplemental aid package that includes the funding for Ukraine that the White House wants, that they've been pushing for months now, and also money for Israel and the Asia Pacific region. The negotiators kept meeting by phone and video call over the holiday break and met yesterday in person with the Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, up on Capitol Hill. It's about an hour-and-a-half meeting, we were told, but there wasn't a lot of optimism coming out of it from what we heard from lawmakers. That said, they were very tight-lipped about the specifics of where negotiations stand. Chris Murphy, who's one of the Democrats leading the charge on this, said it's very hard. That was his candid approach on all of this, saying it's very hard to reach an agreement, but he said they're going to do their best to come to a conclusion, and he feels they'll be ready to present something to the Republicans and Democrats, both caucuses, next week when all of the senators come back to Washington. Does that mean he can present an agreement, that a framework for something, that remains to be seen. But they've got a couple more days to keep at it, and we're told they're going to be meeting again today.
Obviously, our elected officials are the face of this, Karen. But how much of this is done by the non-elected behind the scenes before the senators even come back?
You know, a lot of it, but I think at this point, that was all happening weeks ago. Now, from the White House end of it, it is the senior officials who are involved. You've got the budget director, the legislative affairs director, who are very, very detailed and involved in these conversations. The senators who were handling the negotiations, especially on the Republican side, felt that things kicked it up a notch when you started getting cabinet secretaries involved, when you started seeing more of a senior official presence from the administration, and that helped move the process along. Now, it didn't get a deal before the holiday break, but that they felt that things were speeding up a little bit towards some sort of agreement. So here we are now, and I think the big question today at the briefing for Karine Jean-Pierre, for the National Security Spokesman John Kirby, is going to be, it's now January, and this is now such an urgent issue for the White House. We were hearing it, back in December about the urgency of aid for Ukraine. At what point does the president get involved? Because he is not directly involved in this.
Travers did emphasize that the lawmakers working on this are very tight-lipped, despite having the power to make the big decisions. So we're not hearing a lot of the details yet, but we'll stay in touch with Karen and find out more.
Well, we've got that deadline looming for a government shutdown in the midst of all of this, too.
Right.
2 dates, didn't we say?
Yeah, there's one in January, one in February.
Yeah, tough decisions to be made for sure. That's the in-depth this morning at 15 and 45. But at 8:49, if you're still on the roads, let's get a look at what's going on. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair. Save up to 20 cents with DinoPay. Andy?
Well, the HOV lane is now blocked. Emergency vehicles have arrived on the scene. Looks like it's maybe a single car crash that crashed into the left barrier. I-15 right over 215 in Murray. Traffic, though, backed now almost to 90 south. So if you're heading up towards the south interchange, you're going to have to deal with that delay. Looks like right now, at least, the collector ramp to switch to 215 if you really want to is moving pretty well. Heather?
No problems up through Weber and Davis counties. We are accident-free on all the major freeways and the city streets. You might see just a few brake lights from time to time. Southbound I-15 right around 200 North in Kaysville, as well as around the intersection of US 89 and Harrison Boulevard in South Ogden. But pretty much everyone is at speed. Eric?
Well, the crash is still there. Northbound I-15 going from Utah into Salt Lake County. Right at Point of the Mountain, it's far over to the right as you can possibly get, and we don't have any delays going through there. The delays on the Wasatch back, they're still there. Westbound on Kearns Boulevard from US 40 into Park City. And if you're on I-80 eastbound, you do have some slowing approaching Kimball Junction as well as the Silver Creek exit. For all of life's special occasions, make it unforgettable with J. Brooks Jewelers. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, mostly cloudy today with a high of 43. Then a chance for flurries tomorrow, high of 37. 36 snow showers likely on Friday. We go 35 with more snow showers possible on Saturday evening. Down to 33 on Sunday. We keep snow showers in the forecast. We love to see it. 28 and partly cloudy. Cold for your Monday. We work into Tuesday. Another chance for snow showers. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 23 degrees downtown, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
KSL News Time, 8:51.
Deb, you may not believe this, but I actually do like to eat healthy food. I feel better when I eat healthy, and I do feel full.
I want you to start off 2024 the right way. Log on to fedupkitchen.com, and you can order clean, macro-based, low-calorie meals. Not only that, they have treats and green drinks.
And they're prepared fresh in their Salt Lake City kitchen.
Order today, and they'll be ready for pickup or delivery tomorrow.
It's healthy eating made easy with Fed Up Kitchen.
You can save time, you can save money, and get results with their delicious meals. And like we said, they are made fresh daily.
And because it's the holidays, we want to make sure there's a little gift for you. You can save 20% on your first order. All you have to do is use the promo code KSL at fedupkitchen.com.
That's right. Go to fedupkitchen.com, put in promo code KSL, and you're going to get 20% off your first order.
Take the guesswork out of healthy eating. Go to fedupkitchen.com and use the promo code KSL.
You can stream your favorite show anytime, but the opera only happens 4 times per year. Join us and make new memories with your family and friends. Enjoy the entertaining stories, beautiful sets and costumes, and mesmerizing music. You deserve an elegant night on the town or a Sunday matinee with Utah Opera. Your couch will be there when you get back. Start the new year with a magical opera. The beloved children's book, The Little Prince, is brought to life by Utah Opera in a colorful and vibrant event at the historic Capitol Theater. See the Little Prince and the whimsical characters he meets on his incredible journey. Sung in English, this opera is a perfect outing for adults and kids 5 and older, including a Sunday matinee performance. The iPad will be there when you get back. Tickets start at $21. Get yours today at utahopera.org.
Tim and Amanda.
You know, we've been doing this, 30 years, Tim? We know that the news can be heavy. We know that it can be difficult sometimes to listen to or understand. But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to live in that down place every day. We learn the news, we're educated so we can take care of our families. But then, you know what? We go out and have a good day.
Well, I think both of us come from the standpoint, and we have families. We have kids that are coming up different ages. Yours are younger than mine. Mine are grown adults. But we always try and look for the bright side, I think, because we all want to have that in our lives.
And it's there. There is a bright side.
There is a bright side out there, and so we look for those opportunities each day to hopefully send that message to you, even if it's not directly, in words, that at least in sentiment, things are going to be okay.
Do you know what I like to tell people? The news is the exception, not the rule. So if there's violence in the news, that's the exception. The rule is most of us are safe and happy and doing okay.
Amen.
Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Representative John Curtis wants to be Senator John Curtis, replacing Mitt Romney. Curtis joins us live in studio, and I want to know why the flip-flop. He said he wanted to run, then he didn't. Now he is. John Curtis, today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money this hour is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. More Americans are able to get insulin now for just $35. Drug maker Sanofi is now capping prices and offering savings programs to patients. The deal went into effect January 1.
KSL Drives car sales rebounded last year. Analysts project a 13% increase from 2022. Major car manufacturers will release their numbers later today and tomorrow, so we'll see if the analysts are right.
Looks like steep price cuts seem to work for Tesla. Fourth quarter sales increased by almost 20%. The company said it sold 484,507 vehicles from October through December. That's over 10,000 more than Wall Street estimated.
What's going on with the markets this morning, Tim?
I don't know. We've had 2 days of this now.
Yeah, just taking some profits maybe. The Dow is down 300 points at this hour. That is 0.8%. We're 37,409. The S&P is down 36. That's 0.75%. The Nasdaq is off 135. That is 0.9%. Oil, by the way, is up $2.24. We're at $72.62 a barrel.
Nasdaq, of course, is tech stocks and had a tough day yesterday. How many times have we talked about two stocks, Microsoft and Apple, drive so much of that? And we were reporting this morning that Apple had a 5-month low as far as their stock value went. So I would imagine that has a little something to do with the Nasdaq anyway. We'll take a look at how we're finishing up this morning drive with traffic and weather together next.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? It's natural to think of this as being your money, right? But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And you could be paying a lot more in taxes on these accounts than you know. A lot more. Learn the strategies that can help you reduce or eliminate your taxes in retirement. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
2 years ago, Americans watched in horror as a crisis unfolded at the Kabul airport.
She was tear-gassed and beaten.
Images of thousands desperate to escape Taliban oppression filled our news feeds. More than 80,000 Afghans made it to America. But the story didn't end there.
It was very cold. There was no power, no heat.
Who would help our newest neighbors? I'm Andrea Smartin. In Stranger Becomes Neighbor, you'll hear the stories of some remarkable refugees who left their homes and their dreams behind, only to start over from zero.
Their only possession was 3 blankets.
And you'll meet Americans who stepped up to help them.
You want me to come when you deliver your baby.
What can one person do in the face of an international disaster decades in the making? That's Stranger Becomes Neighbor. Find us at kslpodcast.com. Follow us on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen.
I'm Andrew Saul.